Hi everybody, this is Bev, Clerical Vision, and I just wanted to do a video. It's kind of like just an off-the-cuff kind of thing. I haven't put too much thought into it, so I'm just going to roll with it and see how it turns out. No rehearsals here, but I just wanted to kind of do a kind of a show and tell and have a blether about Judas Priest and Invincible Shield. So it's not really a review of Invincible Shield, it's just a few of my initial thoughts, plus I thought I would just generally talk about Judas Priest and me and how they come in my kind of musical life, if I can remember. So, and I'm just going to show you everything I've got of Judas Priest. I've pulled everything off my collection, which isn't complete by any means. Judas Priest, I've got a few gaps to fill in the albums department and stuff like that. But so, I grew up in the 80s, obviously, and I heard about Judas Priest, but I didn't. They weren't one of the bands back in the day that I latched onto immediately. I was aware of them, and I think because they'd been around probably for something like a decade roughly by the time I started hearing about them. So that would be around about 86, 87, 88 or something in that time frame. I would start hearing about them, and the songs I heard first from them would be, there was Breaking the Law. That was one of the anthems, if you like, I guess, that Judas Priest were known for. There was that one. There was also You've Got Another Thing Coming, and Electric Eye, and that was about it. I was aware of Judas Priest, but I never kind of. I knew they were around at the time, obviously, because they were releasing albums in 86, 88, 80, 90 was Painkiller, I think, wasn't it? So they were very much on the scene at the time. I was discovering hard rock and heavy metal bands in my young days. And but as I say, I just never kind of, I don't know why, kind of looked into them in any great detail at the time. I was also aware, I think Rob Halford, he struck a cool figure. I do recall that because I was aware he was the guy that was all leather, leather, and the very much the metal look, and the Harley Davidson bike on the stage thing was cool to me because I was into bikes and stuff. I was a bit of a tomboy, as they call it back then. So it wasn't dolls and things for me. It was motorbikes and guitars and just that kind of stuff. For some reason, and so I was aware of that side of things, but that was really about it. And I guess the next encounter, if you like, that made me sit up and recall, take notice of, go back to think about Judas Priest was came through via the PlayStation and the Grand Theft Auto games, specifically the Vice City one, which was obviously themed and based in the 1980s. So Judas Priest, was it You've Got Another Thing Coming? Is there another Priest song on there as well? I can't remember if there was two tracks. But on part of the soundtrack to that game, GTA Vice City, there was Judas Priest in there, and again, it just rekindled my interest in them a little bit, because this would be around the time where the kind of PlayStation for me was replacing the void that music had kind of left, because this was at the time when music was not so popular or important in my life as it had been. It was kind of on the back burner, shall we say. I don't know the right phrase to put it, but yeah, that game kind of, oh yeah, cool song, blah blah blah. When I would hear that on the radio stations on the game, plus a couple of others, you know, there was Iron Maiden in there. There was even Slayer, one of these guys in there. A couple of heavy tracks and some of the classics, you know, like Twisted Sister and Autograph, guys like that. So that, you know, the rocks, the V-Rock, I think's the radio station on the game. Yeah. That was all good stuff. So there was that. And then I guess, again, at some point in the future, when I came around to developing more of an interest in music again, around the mid-2000s, when I would listen to things through my computer mostly at this point, I would search about on YouTube and doing the Judas Priest thing again. Turbo Lover came up on the YouTube videos, and I had a watch at that and I thought, what a ridiculously cheesy 80s video this is, and it's absolutely wonderful. You know, it was just so 80s. And I thought, that song is just so good because it's just so 80s. And I know some people out there in the Priest camp do have other feelings towards that album and that song perhaps, but not me. I was an 80s kid. I grew up then, and that style of music, that place in history, that time, that decade, is a very special and happy time for me. And if you were there and grew up, you will kind of understand yourself things that I'm talking about. You know, these are, and I say this about Judas Priest, and I'll get more on that when I get to Invincible Shield as well. It's the kind of music you grew up on, you were introduced to, what you fell in love with, this style. So kind of Turbo Lovers kind of got a bit of that nostalgia nowadays, obviously. But that song in particular, back in the 80s, I wasn't really aware of it at the time. I kind of missed, you know, Turbo had been released in 86 and that had passed by the time I was kind of hearing more about Judas Priest. But as I say, back then they didn't, they weren't one of the ones I was interested in at that time. But so you would have seen my Unsealed to Reveal video the other day, or whenever it was, a week ago maybe, roughly, and it was all about Invincible Shield. Now, I'd only heard a couple of the tracks on YouTube and I thought, this sounds really good, I'm going to buy it, because it sounds like it's going to be as decent as Firepower, and Firepower's terrific. We, most of us, I think, that I'm aware of, I haven't come across many people that have not been happy or impressed with that record. So pre-ordered it, the record came, I went for the alternative cover version, won the black vinyl, which is, you know, this one here, and I really love it. Double LP, etc. And yes, having listened to this a few times, actually, will make it twice, to be honest with you, this week. I've not managed to get it played as much as possible as I'd like, but it's going on again this weekend. It's already been on once this weekend and it'll be going on again. I absolutely love it. What a cracker. Is what I've got to say about that. It is such a good record. Also in the package I got the, hang on a second, I got the deluxe version of the CD, which has the bonus tracks, 3 bonus tracks on it, which you probably won't be able to read there, and even the bonus tracks are excellent. So I've suited and booted them all up. I've got my poly inner sleeves now, so that the CD sits in there nice and snug. And I've got my poly lined inners for my records in the inner sleeves as well. And so that's all. And as I say, obviously this the 2 different covers you get. At first I wasn't aware that all these different variants, you know how there's different vinyl colours with this this artwork version, and I didn't realise that depending on the colour of vinyl slightly alters the colour of the kind of surround. You get more of a red with the red vinyl, and there's a blue hue with the blue and a purple hue with the purple and all that kind of stuff. I didn't actually realise that at first, but I've seen it now once because I've added my things to Discogs. So yeah, I have obviously that. And I don't know what came over me, but in the middle of the week I thought, this album is so good. And of course the Judas Priest advert for the Invincible Shield album came up on my Facebook feed, and I thought, I'm just going to go over here and have a look. So I went to their web store and decided to shove myself in another order. I thought, the purple one looks really nice, but that was sold out, and it's some kind of Spotify related exclusive. I don't know what that's all about, but that one had sold out, and I saw what else they had, and they had a blue one that they had just got some copies in of the blue one. They had 300 of those, and this is limited worldwide to 1,000 in the blue. Now you can see what I mean, hopefully. This is the regular cover, but it's very much more of a blue hue than the standard. I mean, this is a CD, so I'm guessing this is kind of the standard colouring, and this one's got more blue about the surround. Just says limited edition heavyweight blue vinyl. And I also picked up they have the single. This is the bonus tracks on a 7-inch single. They had this, and I thought, oh, I'll have to have that, because obviously you don't get the bonus tracks on the regular vinyl, and I thought having these tracks on a record, on a vinyl, would be nice. So it just comes in this deliberately generic sleeve. That's all it is, and you get your barcode thing there. And that's your record there, side A and side B. So side A has 1 track and B has the other 2. Fight of Your Life on side A, and Vicious Circle and The Lodger on side B. So very cool. And so yeah, I got that. I thought that'll do very nicely, and I've got a wee poly lined inner for that too. And it doesn't stop there. I also decided to grab, because I was thinking, you know, this will sell out and it'll become hard to find and it'll cost a fortune in the future, and I thought, I'm going to have one of these. I went and ordered the picture disc version as well, and here it is. Just because I like the artwork, I thought it just looked kind of cool for our record. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And it's got both artworks on it. You've got the original and the alternative. It comes just in this generic, again, poly gatefold, but it's a softer plastic than the ones of old you would get. And And so I don't think, you know, if you were playing this record regularly, I don't think it would last very long. You know, it would split at the seams and stuff like that, which it already is starting to do down here at one of the openings on the inside. But yeah, you get this card band around the middle, basically with the tracks and the band credits there, and that is basically it. Again, I've suited and booted it. I've put the poly-lined inners over the records just to keep them from being scratched. So there is side one. It's not as bright and clear because you've got it, you're looking at it through plastic sheeting. There is the inside, which is that one, and you've got that on that side, which is kind of cool. And on the back side, we've got the alternative artwork. So yeah, really, really nice. I was very pleased with those. And for me, this is really just going to be a collector's piece. So I would just, it's going to sit in the collection and not really do much, to be honest with you. I will probably house that beside some of my other kind of ones that I really don't play too much, which are mostly my Def Leppard things and a couple of other special oddities. So yeah, that was the picture disc version and the blue vinyl version and the 7-inch bonus track singles. And along with that, because it was a bundle I ordered, you also got thrown in another CD. This is the standard CD edition without the bonus tracks. I haven't opened this, it's still in the shrink, and it's just in the card gatefold sleeve, like a normal gatefold record sleeve would be. Like how your Scorpions record came, like how a lot of albums are coming nowadays. And you get the signed card from the band as well. It's actually 5 autographs, and it's a CD-sized card. I thought it was actually going to be slightly bigger, it just kind of looked bigger for some reason in the picture, but it's just CD-sized. But it is the band's actual autographs. I don't know how well that's showing up, but they're in gold and silver pen. The back is red. So that's pretty cool to have, I thought, as well. I'll just briefly show you one of the blue ones. Hype sticker. Yeah, there's the blue hue around the cover. Everything else is the same about it, more or less, but it's kind of like a translucent blue. You can see, and a bit of a blue to the labels, the record labels there as well. So that's your blue version. So I don't know. I guess overall I've spent somewhere in the region of £100 odd, possibly more, on Judas Priest's new album, which I had absolutely no intention of doing, none whatsoever. But here we go. So what can I say? What can I tell you? Insanity? Is it just the collector in us? Is it just for the love of music? Or I don't know, but it is what it is, I guess. So but yeah, I am very happy with this record, obviously, and I was listening to it earlier today, and I put a few notes down, and three. I mean, I think I like all the tracks on this record. I really do. I think I like them all, and but three that I really enjoy is I love Panic Attack, and I love Invincible Shield, and also Gates of Hell. I think they're terrific. Terrific songs, and you know, and you just sit there and you listen, and And for me, getting back to what I was saying earlier about the music you grew up on and what you fell in love with, this is it for me. This kind of defines kind of original. Some people might argue a bit, but for me, it kind of defines what original heavy metal's all about. Albeit this is probably a bit more modern, which is understandable given it's 2024. But it has its roots in the original, very much has its roots steeped in the original style and sound of just straight up heavy metal, and it's kind of just what I fell in love with. I was listening to Gates of Hell. I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm thinking, yeah, the guitars are amazing. They're just really good. There's points in that song where there's 3 guitars happening all at the same time, and they're all playing different pieces, and I love that kind of stuff. I find that really interesting. While they're playing stuff that's a little bit different, it all blends in and just works together. The notes. And I think the composition, I think it's just really well written songs, and the guitars are amazing. I don't know how much Glenn Tipton was involved in doing the actual solos, because I know he has his conditions now, which is bound to affect his levels of playing. So whether Richie has done the bulk of the studio work as far as the solos go or not, I'm not sure. I haven't really read many or any interviews at the moment with the band either about the album, but regardless, Richie Faulkner has been a superb signing, if you like, for Judas Priest. He fits in. I like the lad. He's a very talented player. He plays Gibson guitars and through Marshalls. That's just very nice. I love the fact that he sticks with Gibson. It's just classic. Not that really matters, but he is a Gibson endorsee, I think. So yeah. And so, as I was saying, the solos as well, I'm thinking they're really melodic. There's something very tasteful and melodic, and some of the solos are exciting, and there's just a smooth kind of flow. I'm trying to think of other words, but very melodic, very musical, and there is a very much of an 80s kind of influence or inspiration. They could easily have come out the 80s, these solos. I think they're just so really well written, and it's fantastic. It's musical. It's enjoyment, it's chunky guitars, it's guitars playing loads of different notes, it's making a song. I don't know, I'm thinking, I was, on one of the last tracks, I think it was one of the bonus tracks, which one would it be? It was Vicious Circle, I think. I think this solo, I think, is just beautifully melodic. I'm saying to myself, what more can I say about it? But there's such good riffs. There's a bit of everything with the guitars. There's nothing I found boring about the songs. Everything held my interest, which I thought was fantastic. And let me see. There's a couple of other notes I scribbled down here, and I don't know. I felt that the introduction to Crown of Horns Just looking at the time here, Crown of Horns. I've noted, I thought there, listening to that intro, it gave me a very slight kind of, it made me think of Running Wild. There was a bit of a vibe of the Death or Glory album from the late 80s. Just about the intro to that track, Crown of Horns, and that's cool. That reminds me of that. Track 8, Trial by Fire. Was it? Hang on, yeah, Trial by Fire. I thought there's a bit of an Iron Maiden vibe about this. This has just got a bit of an Iron Maiden texture to the sound. Modern Iron Maiden, I think. More modern, you know, more 21st century Maiden rather than old school. But I thought it had a bit of that about it. And the track after it, Escape from Reality. And I'm listening to it, and the way Halford's vocals are on that, it almost gives it an Ozzy Osbourne kind of flavour. Just the style of that particular track, the vocal style, I thought, I'm hearing a bit of that in there. And one other thing that came to me on Giants in the Sky, again, another brilliant track, I love that as well. It's got great guitars in it as well, but I'm busy listening to that, and I think it's during the chorus part, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a riff under there, and it reminded me a little bit of Answer to the Master by Def Leppard, of their first album, their On Through the Night. There's a riff in there that it reminded me of that, so it sounds a little bit similar. It's not exactly the same or anything, but it just reminded me. It's just some classic old school pieces happening here as well. And yeah, and I think there's a lot of different textures about the music. The solos are tasteful, as I've said it before. I'm now going to repeat myself, I think. They're interesting, and they're not over the top either, which is a very, very important thing for me. I just think it's a really decent release, and I'm probably going to say, well, up to now, it is definitely up there as one of my favourites of the year so far. Yeah, I would definitely say so. It's I don't know what's still to come out, obviously, this year, but there's a couple of very good albums, and that's one of them that I've heard so far, so it's up there already. But yeah, I just think it's excellent. And I'm going to put Firepower on. I haven't listened to that in a while, but I'm going to put that one again soon. But yeah, I'm now going to quickly show you everything else I've got in my Priest catalogue, because this is getting on for half an hour again, and I don't really want it to go too much longer. So obviously I'm going to work from the present back, because I think I've kind of pulled them all in order. So we'll do the albums first. Let me just get a space to lie them all down in here. So we have Invincible Shield, and I think I've now got about 1, 2, 3, I've got 5 copies if you include the 2 CDs as well. 3 records, 2 CDs. There's another one, look, right? So then I've obviously got Firepower, which was fantastic, 2018 release. Before that, I picked up Battle Cry. This is obviously a live record, and this came out 2016 or something like that. I think this was a reissue. I think it was, it's not the original pressing, because I can't remember if it was only ever originally available on CD or if there was a vinyl edition. I can't remember, but anyway, this is a fairly recent reissue, and I picked this up. Good live stuff. And we've got this one, Redeemer of Souls, which is a great album. I really enjoy this. Obviously it's more modern, Judas Priest as well. 2014. I love the artwork on this as well, it's fantastic. Before that we have Angel of Retribution, and this one was 2005 originally, and this is a 2017 reissue, I believe, according to the dates on the back I'm going by here. So yeah, I'm thinking 2005. If I get the dates wrong, sorry about that. And then, so before that, we're now back into classic Priest. I have Ram It Down. As I said, I do have some Judas Priest gaps, and yeah, Painkiller is one of the gaps, believe it or not. So yeah, Ram It Down, I love this artwork. 1988. Good album. Really enjoy this album, apart from Johnny Be Good. And then 1987, Priest Live. This is an original and it's a Japanese pressing. I am highly honoured to have had this gifted to me as VCLT. Mr. Z, thank you very much for this. It is Sony Inc. Tokyo, Japan. Fantastic. I love this album, it's really good. I think they're all OGs. The 80s stuff are all originals. Of course I have Turbo. Had to get a copy of this. Apart from Turbo Lover, I was not too familiar with most of the other tracks on here, but I do enjoy this album as well. I think it is very much of a mid-80s time when bands, and pretty much every band was doing it. They were experimenting with new technology, new sounds. The 80s was a decade where so many new things and different things were happening and being trialled, and this is obviously just a product from that time, and is wonderful. Another one of my favourites, I found this in a charity shop for £4, and I can't believe how good condition it is. This is Screaming for Vengeance, obviously, 1982. And this one has, as I say, this will have Electric Eye and Screaming for Vengeance, and you've got another thing coming. These were early familiar tunes for me, and yes, it does still have the free poster inside as well. And the last vinyl OG I have is Point of Entry, which I also discovered in a charity shop. 1981, is that right? Yes, 1981, indeed. So yeah, Hot Rockin' obviously was one of the main tracks. So for this, back in the day, I believe the US version has a different kind of cover, which I have seen other people show. That's the vinyl albums. I have this long play mini album, Judas Priest. This is a 1983 release, and it has 6 tracks in total. It does play at 33 1/3, and you've got Hellbent for Leather, Ripper, Exciter, Hot Rockin', Sinner, and Green Manalishi. I really don't know if that's how that one's meant to be pronounced. Pretty cool release, this, actually. It is on Scoop, is the record label for that one. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I have one other single for Judas Priest, which I picked up because it was in really nice condition, again out of a charity shop. Hot Rockin', and it has Breaking the Law, a live version of it from 1981. On the B-side, which is pretty cool as well. I have one 12-inch single, which I went out my way to buy once I got back into music, because I obviously had this on my computer and I would play it a lot. Turbo Lover, 12-inch maxi single. This is a German pressing. Just what can you say about that? just classic 80s wonderfulness. So that's the records. The CDs. Let me just check, shall we go backwards with the CDs? Yeah, from most recent in the CD department, we obviously have Invincible Shield. I got Holidays in Houston, which is a new 2020 bootleg, basically. That's what this is, but it's a 1983 broadcast from live in Texas. Pretty cool stuff, I have to say. So it's got some Screaming for Vengeance stuff on it, and you know, just brilliant. Classic Priest. Then obviously Firepower. I went for the jewel case edition back then, and I'm glad I did, because I think they are phasing out. When Turbo was 30, I picked up the Turbo 30 for the bonus stuff. Obviously you get Turbo, and you get the live 1986 Fuel for Life tour concert from Kansas. Yeah, Kansas City. So I got that as well. I found a CD copy of Redeemer of Souls. It's the media book style version with 5 bonus tracks. You get a bonus disc with 5 other tracks on that. Then we have Nostradamus. You know, I've had this for a little while and I still haven't got around to listening to it yet. It's one of these ones I have in my collection and I have not yet got around to actually listening to it. How ridiculous is that? It will be sorted. Then we're back to the 80s again, so I've got some of the remasters collection here. We have Ram It Down, we have the original Turbo, we have Defenders of the Faith, Screaming for Vengeance, of course, British Steel, which is another classic, just very cool stuff. And then we have Killing Machine, and the earliest one I have is yeah, Stained Glass. Absolutely love this one as well. Really enjoy this album. It's just classic brilliance, isn't it? So that is my Judas Priest show and tell, ramblings about the band, and what I think of Invincible Shield. I just think it's a hit, basically, as far as that goes. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings, and I will see you all in the next video at some point. Have a good weekend. Bye the now.